Whoops. Hey, what's up, everyone? How's everyone doing today? We are back in the good old world's reactions and predictions videos. We had what was it, day five and, no, wait, day seven
I
and
think
eight, I
it's
think?
7 and 8. It's hard to keep track of. Swiss is like very like all over the place, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it's a
it's day
bit weird.
7.
But basically, we're covering the first 2 days of the 1 and 2 score games, as well as the first series of the 2-1 score games, and then
Yes,
tomorrow there will be two more of those, and then we'll see all of the 2-2 teams as well as the people eliminated and promoted from the beforehand things.
exactly.
That may not make any sense, and we'll go over the schedule at the very end, or closer to the end. So yeah, either way. First up was the C9 versus Fnatic game. Once again, we're joined by Drew. I almost forgot to mention. What's up, Drew?
What's happening? Yep, C9, Fnatic, NA versus EU.
Classic. This is
It's happened a couple times. It happened a couple times so far in Swiss.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And they've obviously had like a storied past. C9's been like one of the only teams that have gotten deep into the Worlds and from NA, and
hmm
Fnatic has gone against them quite a few times in past Worlds, as well as they've made like semifinals and finals at different points. The Whippo squad.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, let's jump straight into the first game. I just want to go through draft a little bit. Did you have any overall thoughts on this one, or should we just kind of go pick by pick?
We can just go in it. Yeah. I overall I was pretty happy in general with C9 draft in this first one. I
Yes,
thought it
100%.
was very very good draft, I thought.
Yeah, so we got the Azir ban, really good. Poppy, it's situational, depends on what you are picking, because it can counter what you're picking. So it's not
Yeah.
like my favorite ban, but it can be situational, and I know that I think Fnatic were really liking Poppy, if from what I've heard.
Yeah.
So
Fnatic is one of the teams that will take Poppy top lane
yeah.
as a counter into the Jax. So yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay, yeah, yeah.
probably a
Which
extra good ban.
I think we saw it one time before this match, and the Jags still won eventually.
Yeah.
But interesting. Either way, the Renekton's not my favorite ban, but it's fine. It's not a big deal or anything. And then of course the Maokai ban and the Kalista ban, they're okay. And then Sejuani's okay as well. Not like super great bans, but they're good. Nothing wrong with those. And then we
I think
get
this
the
is probably one of the best first picks right now is Zaya.
yeah, pretty much hands down. The only other one I would say would be probably Rumble.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
my
yeah. Those are
opinion,
the
I
two.
think
Those are the two.
even if he doesn't have the Jarvan or doesn't have the Orianna, I still think it's really strong.
Yeah.
Probably the best top laner in the game because it counters pretty much all of the other top laners that are good right now. So, Jax, I
Yeah.
think Renekton, and what else? There's like one other. I can't remember.
Jax, Renekton, even Cassante seems to
Kasante.
have like a
Yeah.
not fun time into Rumble.
Yeah, it's okay, but it's pretty bad still.
Yeah, these
So,
first three picks from C9, I was like hyped. I'm like, all right, this is a
yes,
good draft.
after I saw this, I was like, okay, C9 won the game. And then I
Yeah,
was like, okay, well they did get Oriana Rakan. Oriana's really strong. I think she's probably the best mid besides Azir right now, in my opinion. And then Rakan's like pretty much one of the best supports from what we've seen so
yep,
far. And then they also get the Jax. So like both sides, I think are doing like amazing pick ban right now, or at least mostly
yeah.
picks.
Pretty
Um,
much all the most powerful picks
yes,
are
but I
being
would
selected.
100% more prefer C9's draft here because the
Yep.
Rumble alone, but also getting the Rumble plus Jarvan is even better than just having Rumble, which it
Yeah,
counters Jax as far as I'm aware
for sure.
and from what I've seen. But anyways, they do a couple more bans. We got the Syndra for the M&S and then Zarya for Noah, and then the Alistar for Sven, as well as the Rel for um, either jungle or support. Well, no, it would have to be jungle, so it would be the Rizark.
What's pretty interesting is C9 must not think that Noah is a very good Kaisa, and Fnatic must also not think Noah is a good Kaisa because it wasn't banned, and I feel like most teams would just like pick the Kaisa here.
Yeah, so the only thing about that, of course the handshake is there and it's fine. It's not a bad pick still. But a lot of people consider Kais to be bad into Zaya, and I think Zaya does counter her a little bit.
Mhm.
Of course, it's a bit of a skill matchup, but uh, Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of really, pretty much besides that. And
I was
then
slightly nervous with the Yone, but
yeah, the
I
Nautilus
was a
is fine.
little nervous.
I don't have any problem with that. The Yone, I was about to sweat because I was like, well, this is like perfect pick man from C9 so far, just about. And then we got the Yone, which is really, feast or
Yeah.
famine champ. That's like, so far, M&S has been a little shaky on it in the last several games he's played of it that I've seen. So, um,
I remember like the finals, NA finals.
yeah,
He did not look the best on Yone. So,
nope.
but there it is nonetheless.
But it is the first game, so it's like even if they lose this one, it's not the end of the world, right?
Yeah, true, true, true.
So I guess it's okay. Um, and we'll
And
see that.
I still thought C9 favored, like overall, because they just had a lot of really good power picks.
Yeah, 100%. And also, I think Ezreal's fine here. I don't have any problem with Ezreal. Ezreal's, um, he's good at killing Zaya and Kai'Sa. A little bit better at killing Kai'Sa than Zaya, but it's a fine pick into Zaya. So I don't think
And
it's really anything
he
bad.
can get out of the Jarvan Rumble
Yes,
combo,
yeah,
so
100%. Having a
that's always
big
nice.
dash like that is really important. So Um, just a quick review of the game, how it went. C9 ended up pretty much stomping because the Rumble got really far ahead,
Yep.
because it counters Jax as well as they were just combining. Their Blabber was going up there a lot. M&S had a couple really bad Yone ultimates, which I was really sad to see. But overall, it was fine. He got a few kills out of that were pretty important as well in the game, which was good. And also, C9 kind of didn't close out the game very cleanly for about two or three different times, but they ended up winning
That,
either way in the
that
end.
was the
Which
only
is,
thing that made me
yeah,
nervous was they were like crazy far ahead, and the Rumble just like obliterated
yeah,
like the whole game. Like with
pretty
that nine
much.
kills, yeah. So the
Yeah,
Rumble was just like out of control. I think this game went over 40. It went like long, like way longer
yeah,
than it should have. So I was slightly nervous about that, but I mean, this was probably the best game out of Fudge the whole tournament, I'm pretty sure.
yeah. I would say so. And after I saw this draft, I was like just those first three picks, like you were saying, I was like, okay, C9 finally has a good meta read. Like this is actually
Yeah.
a really
Yeah.
smart draft overall, besides the Yone, even though it did work out in the end. Um, uh, Oriana was a huge pick and was like destroying C9 in quite a few different fights. He like one shot Fudge, um, even when he was like had only like one death and like nine kills. So it was pretty crazy. But yeah, it was a really good draft and it worked out really well. Obviously, I was like, okay, C9 has a really good meta read. This is awesome. Let's do the same thing next game, right?
Yep. I was feeling
And
pretty confident.
so going to the next game, I was like, okay, they stomped him in match one. Maybe we can get a good one in the second one. Um, the Fnatic ends up banning the Rumble. Smart adaptation.
Yep.
It's really really strong. And then what was the other thing they didn't ban in place of that? That was the Sejuani, right? Yeah.
Yes, they dropped the Sichuan,
So
yeah.
let's Sejuani through. Blabber doesn't pick it also. Just interesting to note. So obviously that's not very high priority for C9 it seems, even though they have been picking it in the past. Um, they get the Jax and the Jarvan here on Fnatic's side, as well as the Rakan and the Syndra. I don't really care about those area that much, although it can be good. Um, and then Fudge ends up picking Renekton for some reason, even though I think Renekton is like fallen pretty low on the totem pole. I think he's probably made the fourth best
I think he
ish.
last picked it too. So he had like full
Oh yeah,
visib he had like full visibility of everything. So he was the red side five counter. Um and yeah, I agree. I think Renekton can still be good, but I think there's better. Like, yeah, I think there's better. Like even I don't know if I've ever seen him play the Poppy, but I was like, you
it's
could
been a while.
do
Yeah,
to Fnatic what they tried. Like you could draft the Poppy top,
yeah, and it
and
counter like
counter
both
the
of these have
Jax
yeah
and the
both of these have
Jarvan, right?
jumps. So
And the Rakan actually. Yeah, none
yeah,
of them would have had fun against the Poppy. So I thought, but I just don't know if he plays it. So, but I
yeah,
thought it was maybe a Poppy pick
probably
that they did.
not. Um, recently. This is unfortunate. But anyways, they get M&S on a Cassante pick here, as well as Blabber's back on the Talia. When I saw, um, okay, so what was the first two picks? It was Cassante. I was like, okay, that's fine, not a big deal. Then I saw the Talia, and I was like, oh no, because it let me just find the stat real fast. But I'm pretty sure it's like 1 in 14 or something at Worlds, or like 2
Yeah.
in 16 or something like that. It's crazy. Let me just find
It
the stat real
hasn't.
fast. There we go. It's 2 and
Yeah.
13 at Worlds right now, and NA has picked it like probably 5, 6 times at least. I would say. So
You
when I
wonder
saw the
like what
Talia,
kind of scrim data they're getting,
I
where
don't
they think it's
know.
still so good, but I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
but when I saw that, I was like, oh no, that's not good. Because like it can work, but I'd say against this top side, they can just jump on her. Like, what's she gonna do?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Agreed.
I mean, she has the thing that can stop dashes, but like,
I think that
I
like
don't know.
baits people because it's not like like Vex is an anti-dash champion, and like Talia has that
Yeah,
one ability that kind of messes up dashes, but I don't. I think sometimes that like baits people because I don't think
yeah,
it's that strong. Like I don't think just because you have Talia, like dashes are not effective anymore.
yeah. Also, it's kind of weird to see the Syndra first picked when there's
That
higher
was weird.
priority
That was definitely
champs,
weird.
such as Kaisa when they banned Xayah on Brit side. So
That's
it's
what I'm
like,
saying. I don't think Noah is a good Kaisa. That's what I got out of this
yeah,
series
maybe not. So
because they had a lot of chances to just like pick it. They didn't.
yeah. Either way, this game went pretty poorly. I think really early for C9, and
Yeah.
actually, I guess not that early. Oh no, it's mostly even. Okay, I'm misremembering this game a little bit then. But either way, Fnatic ends up winning this one. I think off a few good fights, and C9 just looks kind of like a bit lost overall, which was really unfortunate to see. And obviously most of the picks didn't work
Yeah.
out that well. M&S actually did pop off a few times. I do remember on the early game, but Fnatic just I think they like team fight them a couple times and just lose. Oh yeah, this is the Baron flip. That's right. So C9
Yep.
starts Baron here and they just completely peel off of it and then just give Fnatic the Baron for free. Like they just walk upward and there's no entrance for them to get out. So it was really weird. Let's just watch this for a second.
Yep.
So
It's weird.
everyone's like coming out of base or a little bit on oh, this is the replay. Okay, here we go. Basically, C9 starts the Baron, and then Fnatic end up walking up. They get there in time while they're still finishing. C9's trying to finish the Baron. M&S goes in for a thing, and then an engage, and then they just like wombo combo C9 here.
Yeah. They get the Baron and they just like
Yeah, they
slaughter
they
him.
they wombo them after getting the Baron, so it's like
Yep.
C9, come on. So it was a pretty
Yeah.
unfortunate
It's
one. That
yeah.
was a big
It
turning point.
this definitely had me nervous because now at this point
It's do or die.
in the series, it's do or die, and I'm also nervous because I'm thinking the only reason we won that first game was like the draft diff because we like just outdrafted them so hard.
Yeah, pretty much.
This game, like I think the drafts are a lot more even and yeah, we couldn't really pull it off. So now I'm like, okay, we have to have a really good draft in game three to
Yeah,
like
that's
set
true.
us up to move forward. So I was definitely nervous, but we did get I think side selection or we would get the pick. So I
Yeah,
was like,
I
okay,
was
maybe we
excited
can
about that. I was like, okay,
yeah,
there's no way we can lose this draft, right? And then Fnatic does something really sneaky at this draft. Let me just go to the beginning. They end up banning the let me find it real fast, 1 second. Oh no, they leave open the Kaisa and the Xayah, I think. No, they
yep.
leave open the Xayah and the Rumble is what happens.
Hmm.
So we have to pick one of them. We can't get both of them here.
Yep.
Usually red side bans like one of them and then we get the other one, right? Or
Yep.
something. And then they can try to get whatever they can at the next point. But
Yep.
we end up banning Poppy again, which I'm a little bit unfortunate about, but it's okay, I guess. Um, and then their bans are fine. It's not a big deal. We get the Xayah, which is fine, but I actually would prefer getting the Rumble here a little more than the Xayah overall because while yes, Xayah has her ultimate, you can still get like unless they take the Jarvan away here, we could get like the Jarvan Rumble again, and then it's practically a free win getting those two picks together. Um, and you can lay the Rumble ult into the Cataclysm from Jarvan, and then Zaya can't walk out. She can just delay the damage by like a second. That's it. Um, so we get Zaya, which gives them the strongest top jungle duo in my opinion at Worlds at the moment.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed.
with Rumble and Jarvan. So at this point, I'm like, welp, I think we lost the series.
Yeah, especially because I think I would have to. I don't know why. Maybe it is like doable, and that's why people keep picking it. But I think every time it seems like Jax just gets like blown out of lane, but when he goes into Rumble. Um,
Yes, it's a hard counter
so
from what I can tell. So
yeah, so I was definitely nervous because I was like, you don't even have to like look that far back. I'm like, Fudge, you just like destroyed this guy
yeah,
as a Rumble
like
like
so
in the
hard.
Jax.
I
So
mean, it
why
was
would
a
you
lot of
then pick
Grinks, but
it?
still, yeah.
Yeah. So I was nervous for sure. I mean, Jack Sejuani is good in a vacuum, but I don't think it holds up at all to
No,
Rumble and Jarvan.
pretty much not at all. Rumble is such an insane pick right now, and like you're saying, like why are we picking Jax if we know it hard counters them? And we already have like a tank jungler, so we need something else. Uh,
Yeah.
so I don't know. It was a pretty rough pick there for me. I was a bit unfortunate. I do like the Jax, but if you're not banning Rumble, you should not be picking Jax unless you know you're getting Rumble on your side. In which case you wouldn't pick Jax anyway. So it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
The Aphelios was interesting. I was like, I really don't like this pick overall. Usually, it's not worked a lot of the times. It only has a 2-5 record, which isn't that terrible, but it's still pretty bad. Um, so yeah, I don't know.
Well, remember like two of those were Yeon, I think.
That's true. That's true.
So he's inflating the win rate
That is
or
true.
the loss rate, yeah.
um, so yeah, we got the Akali ban, which is pretty smart. Although I don't think Evanes is going to be playing Akali, although he has in the past. But I think it's unlikely. The Braum ban, which is overall pretty smart, saying that they're going to be engaging on you quite a bit, especially just with the Jarvan. And then they got the Renata. Both of these are disengaged champs. So I think it's pretty smart bans from C9 in the second half. But they end up getting the Rel, I think, yeah, in the
Yep.
end. So like still an incredibly strong engaged champ. So um, yeah. Or no, sorry, I was saying the other way. So they were banning that because they don't want to have a disengage because they were going all in with the Sejuani,
Yeah,
Jackson,
with Jax, Sejuani,
Alistar all
yeah.
have to go in, so they don't want to be disengaged. So yes, that makes sense. But we got the Rel, which is a really strong pick here. We get the Alistar, which is okay. I don't think it's like the best, but it's been picked a whole lot right now. The win rate's like almost even right now. So, uh, but yeah, overall pretty interesting. And then we got LeBlanc's for M&S, which I was like, okay, okay, M&S has done good in the past, although there were a couple games at the end there uh, of the NA LCS championship. But then we got the Silas as the last pick from Fnatic, and I was like, okay. I don't know your thoughts about Silas right now, but I believe he is probably okay. I think he's at least up there, if not the best mid at the moment, because we're devolving into Silas Akali meta again, from what I can tell, and
I
I prefer
I
Silas.
think I think I agree as long as you can pick him later in the draft.
True.
So
Yes.
that
Yeah.
you guarantee, like, I don't think you want to pick him like first pick, but I think if you can pick him later and make sure, like this game,
That's
I
fair.
think he's busted because Silas loves some of these alts, like the
Yeah.
Alistar alt
Alistar,
is
Sejuani.
crazy, crazy good for Silas. Yeah, so I agree. As long as you can like guarantee you get a good alt that you can steal, yeah, he's like crazy strong right now.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't exactly know how it works with the LeBlanc ult. I don't know if it mimics one of Silas's abilities or if it's like the last ability that LeBlanc throws out or what. But
I know it's
um,
not good. Like people actually will pick LeBlanc counter into Silas because it's not
okay,
very good for
it's
Silas. But
probably actually
yeah,
I have no idea then. Never mind.
but um, but you can kind of see how strong Silas is because he basically like self counter picked him. because he's like, you know what, I don't. It doesn't matter. Like I'll have way bigger impact later on in the game.
Yeah, and I mean, like we said, Fnatic just pretty much has an incredibly strong draft, other than maybe the Aphelios would be the only thing you could argue against, pretty much. And C9 just has they've been countered almost everywhere, and
Yeah.
pretty much the game goes about as you would expect there. Fnatic gets almost every Drake. Also, one thing I do want to note is that I can't remember exactly where. Somewhere the dragon is spawning. I think it's the second. It's either the first or the second dragon. I want to say it's the second dragon. So, Sejuani is on the top half of the map, clearing a um, what is it called? The Rift Scuttler,
Yep. Yep.
and
Yep.
somewhere along here, I can't remember exactly, but basically, Fnatic gets the second dragon for free for no reason. Because from what I understood, I can't remember find the exact spot, but or maybe it was in the no, it was definitely this game. Basically, Blabber was clearing a scuttle crab down here, up in the upper half of the map, and he had plenty of time to walk down to the dragon, as well as C9 had 3, 2, 4 members down there, pretty close proximity to the dragon, and Fnatic puts like 1 or 2 people, maybe 3 people there at most, and they get it for free, even though their C9 had plenty of time to walk down there. And Fnatic ends up stacking dragons off of this and gets the soul, if I remember correctly, which was really, really sad.
They do. They do. I think they do get a pretty early soul in this one.
Yeah, which I was like, okay, well that's just even more doomed. Like, there's no way C9 can win this game, even if they did out team fight. I don't think it's possible. And then Fnatic just gets a slowly. They win a few fights as well. C9 doesn't look like they're doing too bad overall, but Blabber gets caught a couple times. One time saving Sven. Sven has got
Yeah.
like died a ton this game as well, getting caught out and stuff. And I mean, it is hard. I don't blame him too badly, but it's just this game goes really poorly. And did you have any other thoughts on this game particularly?
I would just say overall, I was sad. Obviously, to see another NA team get eliminated,
Yeah,
so disappointed there. But probably even more disappointed than the TL one because after that first game, I had a good amount of hope because, like, I think you put it really well. I thought it was a sign that we, like, Cena had finally figured out
yeah,
a pretty solid read on the meta. So I was like, okay, this is like super encouraging. And then it just did not carry through the rest of the series. So
yep,
that was a downer. So I'm all in on the NRG train now.
yeah. Uh,
Our last
I think
hope.
they're gonna have some pretty tough matchups in
I
the
think they might be in a bit of trouble, but yeah.
Yeah, also, your plan that was C9 was supposed to go through, and then one of NA's
I know.
NA draws NA, and then
I
one gets
know.
through, but
They ruined
unfortunately
my
goes down
plan.
in flames here, sadly. Um,
Yeah.
it was really unfortunate. And C9 gets knocked out of Worlds here, unfortunately. So, pretty disappointing, but I've learned to be disappointed by C9 at Worlds in the last 3 to 4 years, so I'm not
No,
too
it wasn't always like
surprised.
that. It wasn't always like that.
It wasn't. The years before that has been pretty, what, exciting, exhilarating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but
Both.
yeah, anyways, that's that match. After that, let me go. You might get spoiled there. Sorry about that. Let's go to Mad versus Weibo. Kind of quick review on the other 3 games, since they weren't any
Yeah,
NA teams.
these can be pretty quick here.
Yeah, Weibo,
Yeah.
no surprise, gets the 2-0 on Mad. What were your thoughts about this matchup here?
Yeah, Weibo stomped them. No surprise there. Most exciting thing was the Shy busting out the Aatrox. And yeah,
Yeah,
Aatrox looking pretty
I was surprised
strong.
by that.
So
I
me too, because we
was
haven't seen it, but
Yeah, well, we had seen it like once or twice, but it hadn't looked very good. I think one time was in A actually, and I was
yeah.
like, well, Aatrox doesn't look that good right now. So I was like, well, maybe he's just not good this year. And then the Shy comes out and he's just like chilling on it, no big deal.
It's hard to say. Is it because Shy was playing in Mad Lions that it looks strong, or is it actually strong?
Yeah,
Who can say?
in my
It's
opinion,
hard
I
to
think it's just because the Shy is really good at the champion,
yeah,
particularly. So I
agreed.
think it can work, but I don't think it's gonna be super. I still don't think it's like top meta. I'd rather have
Yeah.
all the top. um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely.
picks. But actually, I did think Mad put up a pretty good fight. I was really sad to see them go once again, but um, they had a pretty rough one this World. I think a lot of the draws were pretty unfortunate overall.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, for sure.
but I thought Niski's Silas was really good. I don't forget if it was game one or game two, but he looked pretty nice. I think it was like 11 and 0 won one of the games, right? Or like 11
Yeah,
and
they put
1,
up.
and then they came
Yeah, yeah,
back.
the Silas game. Yep.
Yeah, it was really awesome to see, but unfortunately they did fall. So Mag gets kicked out of the tournament, C9 gets kicked out, Fnatic and Weibo advance there to the 2-2 um, like
Yep.
block, and then
To yeah, the final block, the final showdown.
yeah, and then we got D plus Kia versus Gam. Apparently these guys aren't named Gigabyte Marines anymore, so both of these teams have changed their names.
Yeah.
I don't know what the new one is, but I
Imagine.
just heard that it's not the proper term anymore. So,
Oh, okay. I think
uh,
this is GAM. I think they're just GAM esports.
yeah, that might be it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but D plus end up 2-0ing Gam. Unfortunately, most of us saw this coming. Unfortunately, but
Yeah.
I thought Gam put up a pretty decent fight overall, but it was unfortunate.
It was if you want to just a reminder of how good Death is, just watching the highlights. Like
True.
Death is so good. Like he's drawing Caitlyn bans in a meta where like no one else is only Caitlyn bans are when he's playing. So
Yeah,
it's
pretty
pretty
much. I
pretty
don't think
crazy. But yeah.
Caitlyn's so incredibly strong that you need to ban it, but it can be sometimes. I mean, his Kaisa this series was really
Oh yeah, his Kai'Sa is
really
disgusting.
good.
I was like, what the like? I was like, some of the like Western team Kaisas do not like look like this Kaisa. Like
No.
this Kaisa is out of control.
Yeah, it was actually pretty crazy. I was excited to see that. And then
Hmm.
KT versus LNG ended up going all three games,
Yeah.
and LNG ended up clutching it 2-1. And I think this is probably right. I was a bit sad for KT because it was well, actually one of these teams gets knocked out here, so KT actually ends up going home. Right? Wait, no. This
No, no,
is
no, no.
this
They
is
live
two
to
one.
fight another
Never
day.
mind, never mind.
Yeah.
So they have one more
Yep.
chance, which is good. Because
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, because KT do deserve, I think, to go have at least one more chance. And they are a good team, but they ended up like they looked really good game two, and they looked pretty good in the other games as well. But LNG just ended up team fighting a lot better, and I think LNG is overall just a better cohesive team than KT is, even though KT has really big stars as well. Um,
Yeah, I think I agree with that. But I will say like I think LNG even coming in speaking of like Kaisas, Gala on Kaisa
yeah,
is disgusting too. So if you want to see good Kaisas, watch Death and also Gala. But LNG might be the third best team potentially
yep.
in this tournament. It's like behind JDG and Gen G. And KT might be like the fourth or fifth. So like I think KT is still really good,
Oh,
but
you think they're still that
LNG,
high? Okay,
I think so because I think they're better than T1. I just don't know if they're better than
okay,
BLG. That's like the question mark that I have.
that's fair.
But I think they're still pretty good. But I think LNG is just like really good. So
Yeah, I do
um
think they're really high. I don't know if they're third or maybe fourth, but they're definitely pretty up there for sure.
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, either way, KT goes to the 2-2 stage then, and then LNG ends up
They
they
qualify
qualified.
out.
Yeah, so qualified
Yeah.
LNG straight up, and then as well, Gambit knocked out, and DK go to the 2-2 if I didn't mention that already. So
Yep, yep, yep,
that
yep.
were all the matches that we saw of those days. I think this is let me see exactly. Actually, never mind. I'm not even gonna worry about that. So that's that
So many
schedule. So
days.
this is
Yeah.
the yes, the bracket that ends up happening so far up until I think tonight or tomorrow's games, right? Basically, we'll have the last two going down here and the last two advancing as well. So
Yep.
most likely we were saying G2 was going to be NRG, so NRG will go down here, G2 goes up here, and then I think we said BLG, right? Wins
That's what
versus
I
one.
think.
Okay,
I think it's kind of a coin flip, but I think BLG will win it.
yeah,
So
they got the best of
then
the MSI also, so
yes.
we'll see.
And then we'll have that final showdown, which will be a pretty scary bunch because I'm thinking
Yeah.
Fnatic, DK, T1, Weibo, KT, and NRG. So That's I guess if you're NRG and that's the scenario, you're hoping for a Fnatic draw.
Yeah,
It's like
I think pretty much
your
that's the
best hope.
best chance. And then it'll be sad when Fnatic 2 wins them. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, that is all of that stuff. We're gonna do quick predictions on the last two matches, I think. Um, I guess we already said what we thought.
Yeah, I
What's
think
your score
G2.
for the first one?
Um,
Think Energy
uh,
takes the game off of them?
no, I think G2 will 2-0.
2-0, okay.
Unfortunately, and I think Billy will 2-1. That's my prediction.
Okay. All right. All right, that should be
Yeah.
all of it. That's going to be happening. It says tomorrow, but it's basically like 3 a.m. Like it says
Yeah.
in the morning, so it's going to be like pretty much tonight. So yeah, we'll try to get. I think we're gonna try to get a quick reaction video to the Is Right and then the draw show
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
tomorrow if we
Yeah,
can.
probably like yeah, sometime tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be exciting. Look forward to that. But other than that, thank you all for watching. I think that's all. Any final thoughts, Drew?
Nope. No, NRG is our last hope, so
Yeah,
uh hopefully they put on a good performance.
yeah, for sure. All right, thank you guys for watching. Catch you later. Peace.